Unfortunately, it is the end of the road for Ghana at the 2022 FIFA World Cup after their 2-0 defeat to Uruguay. Remember that the Black Stars only needed a draw to pull through, at least to join Portugal in the round of 16 from Group H. But unfortunately, the Black Stars could not sparkle, they couldn't shine when it was required of them. Welcome to our review of that game. My name is Olafemi Ashaolu. It is Nigeria Super Fans Forum, and Kayode and James join me via video. Guys, you're welcome to this review.
Thank you, Femi. It's hard to come on set, but the show must go on. We just have to keep it going. Yeah.
You can see the veins on my forehead just really coming out because I felt it's the Black Stars had this game almost under their armpit wrap, but they just couldn't make it count. Guys, let's get started. And after the halftime break, Asamoah Gyan said Otoado got his starting lineup wrong. I don't know, Kayode, I'll start with you. Do you agree with Asamoah Gyan?
Well, yeah, I absolutely agree with him. And let's make something clear, Femi. This is not a blame game. What is done is done. We're just saying this in order to learn and in order to move forward. I expected that, Femi, for you to understand how wrong this selection was, look at the last 15 minutes of the game. Imagine if some of those players had started the game or even come in right from the restart. Probably, we are not too sure, we're not God, probably things would have changed. And like I kept saying, why reserve Kamaldeen Suleiman until the last minute? You know, I've always been saying this before the competition started, that he was going to be Ghana's joker. Unfortunately, in the imagination of Otoado, the boy didn't run too highly, and he kept him on the bench. Imagine if that boy had been there, the fire in his belly, everything that he brought onto the pitch when he came on. Imagine if that had been on for 90 minutes. One. Then two, the central defense pair, Femi, I've always had issues with that. And you know this in our personal discussions and off air. You know when I say that I've never been too happy or satisfied with the pair of Salisu with Amati. Salisu, fine, refined footballer. Amati, good in his own way. But pairing the two of them has never sat down well with me, Femi. And you saw in the first goal, you saw in the various other mistakes that happened on the pitch, you saw in the one that nearly resulted into a penalty. So for me, I agree with Asamoah Gyan that the selection for the game was wrong ab initio.
Okay, James, there's no way we can have this discussion without talking about the Ayew brothers. When at a time when the nation of Ghana was really looking out for these guys, of course, they did very well since the commencement of the tournament, particularly against Korea. We saw what Jordan did. In the game against Portugal, we saw what the Ayew did. But in the game, this crucial that the country was actually looking up to the two of them to shine. The Ayew missed a crucial penalty, very lackadaisical for me, very carefree at the World Cup. And of course, you saw that goal caused by Jordan. It was just almost trolling after you lost the ball in the middle of the field. These two guys, we saw that I'm sure Otoado could not contain his anger, that he had to put both of them out in the at the end of the first half.
Well, I think what happened is that these guys, they've now given their critic enough weapon now to come all out against them now. That's just what they did. I mean, I've seen Dede Ayew play penalty, and I know that he's someone that loves to go with force, and exactly. I have not seen him play penalty before. But today's zone, I was shocked. The way he ran, he stuttered, then he very same weak, sluggish penalty. Then Jordan too now did his own. He was just trying, I don't know, he was trying to take on 2-3 people where you just needed to find your teammates and pass. I mean, for me, that's just what happened. Because now the criticism was because Asamoah Gyan will relax now. Then they will now continue on Jordan and Dede. But the way it looks like now, it's as if the cost, yeah, because I didn't mean Dede scored that penalty. I mean, what Uruguay did was what Ghana would have done. They would just sat back and soak up the pressure and hit them on the counter. Because we saw in the last few minutes, we saw Ghana were creating chances, but they were just not taking them. They went close on several occasions and they were just, so it goes to show how bad this Uruguay team is. But it's so unfortunate that the Black Stars just failed to come to the party. They were so sluggish. They were not at the races. The midfield lost focus. The defense, I mean, look at the first goal. The first goal beat the first player, then it beat the second player. And the goal scorer was just, Suarez was there. He got the shot. Artizigi did well to stop it, and nobody was there to clear the rebound. And again, the second goal from that same place, nobody picked up the goal scorer. Suarez just placed the ball to him, and he just slammed it. For me, the two outstanding players for me in the Black Stars team, the goalkeeper Artizigi and Kudus. I don't know, the rest just didn't come to the party. They were just so. I mean, even the penalty that wasn't given to Uruguay, I mean, that was a lucky escape for them. So that was, I think maybe that was part of the reason why they were so mad after the game, that they had some calls that didn't go their way. So as I started laughing because while we were praying for Ghana to win and Uruguay were celebrating, the next thing, all the scenario just changed all of a sudden. And then Suarez, who was smiling, all of a sudden, was the one that crying. For me, I think it was kind of a revenge in a way. It's so funny, So I think in a way it's the retribution for Black Stars, if that's the way they want to put it. But for me, I mean, this is a giveaway for Ghana. This is something that a game that a draw would have been enough for them, but they just decided to just follow this route, which was very bad.
Okay, Kayode, I remember that, along the line we talked about how Ghana have been playing against El Salvador. And we stress that in the first half, they have always been not too impressive. And we've seen that in this competition again. And in the second half, they always bring their A game. We saw that play out again. In the first half of this game, they were just merely staring at the Uruguayans. You saw how deep they sat back. And of course, they watched the Uruguayans take the ball to them. And if you remember in the first half, I remember at a point we had Inaki Williams and Ayu in the Ghana's half at the time that they were 2-0 down. Kayode, would you say again that what you've been saying about Ghana playing well under Otuado in the first half, playing badly in the first half under Otuado was part of what was responsible for this defeat today?
Femi, to be honest, I think what I will attribute this loss to is the fact that they didn't. Knowing the background, there's always a backstory to everything. Knowing the backstory to this game, particularly against Uruguay, I expected Ghana to come out of at the start of the game firing rather than being on the defensive right from the beginning. Because the Uruguayans showed that they wanted a win and they went for what they wanted. You also helped them by not coming out to play. Then everything fell apart at the point where Andre Ayew lost that penalty. That was where everything fell apart. Everybody was discouraged. One, then two, I will keep going back to this, Femi, the central defense. You don't play a central defense of a flat line defense. You saw that I've always said this, you remember during the qualifiers, I said when you play a flat line, one ball will beat everybody. You saw that happen today. The ball that beats Salisu will also beat Amate. That led to the first goal of Uruguay. But if you had played a staggered defense, somebody's ahead of the other person by a few meters. If the ball beats you, the other person will have enough time to recover. One. Then two, in the preview to this game, Femi, I talked extensively about positional awareness. It is criminal that the defenders did not know that there could be somebody there. You don't have to look before you see. Femi, your sixth sense should tell you if you are positionally aware that, okay, this place is so crowded and this place is free. There should be somebody here. You look behind you, see the person, close the gap. If that gap had been closed, we won't be having this. And then it boils down to Otuado's team always trying to save the best for last. And I said, you won't get away with it every day. There will be a day you get stuck. That day was today. Although, like Jim said, the good thing for me, in quote, is the fact that Uruguay also did not have to celebrate.
Uruguay along with them.
Yeah, everybody is going home together. That for me, you can call me petty, you can say I'm wicked, Femi, but for me, that kind of ameliorated my heart. That okay, as hot
That is
as
the revenge.
I
I
am
think
that
that is
Ghana
the
are out,
revenge.
I'm also happy here that Uruguay are also going home, especially seeing the tears from Suarez. I'm very, very happy that has happened. But to sum what I'm trying to say up, I hope Ghana are onto a good thing with this collection of players. I hope the FA will be able to persuade Otoado to stay. That's me now, Femi. Although we know he said he's going, but I hope they're able to persuade him to stay. Because if another coach comes in, he's going to start building again from ground zero. And that's the problem with African teams. You see the Senegalese, they are not in the second round of 16 by chance. This team has been, the core of the team has been together for a long while. Even when Mane, that we thought was the arrowhead, was the whatever you call it, is not there. They've managed to fall down because they are not strangers to each other. That's why I think, but if the FA must do anything, they should make sure that they ask Otoado to stay on. In fact, in the permanent capacity.
Okay. And if Otoado decides to leave Ghana, I think he can come to the Super Eagles of Nigeria because we are looking for a coach. James,
I don't know about that.
Let's talk about let's talk about the Ayu brothers. Would you blame them for this defeat? Because of course we saw, if you are a Ghanaian now, would you blame them for it? Because we saw the Ayu missing a crucial penalty, and Jordan, that first goal, I think it was first goal, it was just like a Jessica, you lost the ball and in the middle of the field in a very crucial game, and you were just trolling, no effort to even recover or to see how you can, get back the ball. Would you?
Femi, in a moment of disaster, in a moment of odds and misfortune, the natural thing for every human being is to look out for who to blame. So it is easy. I can understand on the streets of Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi, Sekondi, everywhere in Ghana and all over the world. I can understand where people's anger will be directed. Now, I get that. And I would think the same if I were in their shoes. But as an analyst, I will also take a step backwards and say, you know what? As much as you want to look at individual performances in a team game, but when you begin to single out players, it is also dangerous because the guys you think played well did not play well on their own. They had the support of those you think did not play too well. So as much as I do not want to single out these guys, the Ayu brothers, for blame, I know that will continue. A lot of people already will be calling for their heads now. But I think there were decisions that could have been made that could have been better. Andre, like James said in his opening speech, I knew him when I saw him walk up to take the penalty. I knew this was going to be a odd shot hit towards an angle of the post that the keeper would not be able to get to because it was going to be a very fierce one. Surprise, surprise! I saw him make a back pass to the goalkeeper, and I was like, "What?" Obviously, the other players did not get over that letdown, and it's also dribbled down to what Jordan did. Ordinarily, Jordan would try to chase the game, but I think it just cast what do you call it on the spirit of the players. That penalty miss. If they had what do you call it, a psychologist. I keep talking about this because I am big on sports science. For me, if they had a psychologist who could have psyched them up at halftime, maybe something could have happened. But then that they never quickly recovered until the last 15 minutes. When if you take that 15 minute bet for me in isolation, you'll be proud of this Ghana team. And that leads me to what I said before, that if the team is capable of doing this in 15 minutes, then we should look for a way that they will be able to do it in 90 minutes. Not only do it in 90 minutes, do it consistently. If they're able to do it consistently, then this is the beginning. I see the seed of a very, very great team. If they are kept together under a coach that knows this team, like Otoado and Femi, this team has the potential. And luckily, they are very young players. The leaders of the team are very young. You're talking about Kudus, who was excellent today as usual. You are talking about Suleimana Kamaldi. You're talking about almost all the players on the pitch. The person I had a small issue with was Baba Aman. I counted 5-6 times that he gave possession away. like I said, I'm not trying to single out people, but I just have to make that known that he should be doing better. And you know who impressed me the most? Ali to say the right back. He was my, like, of course, we know what we expected of Kudus. He did that. We know what we expected of some of the other players. But for me, Ali Saidu, you know, I compared him to a Frank Amankwa. For a certain generation of Ghanaian people, they will understand, they will remember who Frank Amankwa was. That was who this boy reminds me of. And I think he should be in that team for a long while. He's there. I'm not sure if we can the clam table upstage him in that position. That's my belief.
Okay. James, I remember in the preview of this game, I talked about what Naki William brings to this Black Star squad. And I remember Kayode saying that, you know, there is a reason why Otuado actually had him there. But today, again, we saw Naki Williams not doing much. For me, I think he hasn't brought anything special to this Black Stars team. What do you think, James?
Well, I think maybe because of he has not really spent much time with the team. How many games have this played with? I think he has not really had that. He has not really gelled for me with the team. I think he still needs more time. Maybe they don't really understand the style of the Anetu is trying to adapt to new team. You know how it is when you just you are playing with new players. I mean, we used to see him in Atletico Bilbao. He's somebody that one of their key players. But in the World Cup, I mean, there are some important runs he makes that at the end of the day, nobody passes the ball to him. So it's like he just keeps the defenders busy. But when he gives that, nobody finds him. You know, so for me, I think he's still somebody that will be valuable to the team because he has wealth of experience. But I think he still need to stick with the team. And hopefully, a good coach, a sound tactical coach, we know how to harness his stuff play that we gel with the Ghanaian team, you know. So because they tried him on the wing, they tried him in the middle, he was just trying to create openings for his teammate. But unfortunately, some of the openings they failed to capitalize on it. So for me, he did his best, but I think that still needs to be with the team, and hopefully we come good for them.
Okay, James, I'll still stay with you. Do you think lack of a world-class striker actually affected the Black Stars in this competition?
We could see that they could score goals. It's not they needed one world-class striker. The most important thing is if you check out the goals that they apart from I think Kudus that scored how many goals? The goals came from other areas of what's it called? Who scored? You know, Bukari scored. You know, so they just needed to take the opportunity it came. Today's game, it wasn't about scoring all the goals. It was trying to get ahead of Uruguay, which came and they threw it away. You know, I didn't mean they first. I mean, that would have helped them to settle down and play their game. But the worker said, immediately this I used that penalty. It was unhail for them. You know, no matter what part of the reason why I did it, that gave away that pass. You know, everybody was just demoralized. It was late in the year, they started coming out. So for me, they don't really need. It was not as if they were more world-class strikers because they scored 5 goals from in group stage. So it was just a case of they didn't take the opportunity when it came. This game was just about taking a chance. The Euro took their chances and you see how they stand it. I told you that once they go ahead, there's no way Ghana is going to come back. That was exactly what happened. So I think Ayu scored. They would have sat on it, frustrated the Uruguay. So it was something the Uruguay now did. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to go through.
Okay, Kayode, you know, we talked about revenge or no revenge before this game, and of course, you said the player should not have that in mind, and Otuado actually said it before the game. Though we're not in the head of those guys going into that game, but do you think that might have played certain role in the result of this game?
Femi, to be honest, like I said, I'm struggling not to look for excuses now about what went wrong. So talking about the revenge thing, I remember we talked about it, and I remember I said the best revenge is to win this game. When you win, you qualify, then that is the revenge you need against them, sending them home. For me, I'm not going to say it played in their head or that it did not. The fact is, if you check the statistics of the game, Femi, the two teams are not too far apart. as a matter of fact, Ghana had a better ball possession than Uruguay. Ghana had 4 shots on target to Uruguay 6. They had shots off target 3 to 5. Blocked shots, Ghana had 2 to Uruguay's 1. Possession 53 to 47 in favor of Ghana. Corner kicks 5 to 2. Offsides 2-2. 18 fouls to 11. So for me, this was a fairly balanced game. The difference is that one team took its chances, the other did not. You talked about world-class player, Femi. I don't understand your definition of world-class player. This is international football, Femi. You don't just because you like a player.
World-class striker.
World-class striker.
World-class striker.
Yeah, Femi, hold on. You don't just because you don't have a player in this wing, you go out and buy like you could do in club football. If Chelsea are lacking a striker now, they will decide, oh, you know what, there's a striker in Atletico Madrid, let's go get him. In international football, that does not happen. You have to make do with what you have. But unfortunately, the problem I have with Otto, as much as I do not like criticizing coaches' decision, is the fact that there were players on the bench that he could have brought from. I think, as much as I said I supported Inaki Williams being a part of this team and what he has been able to do, I agree with James that he hasn't had enough time. In fact, these games were games that they should have been using to bond together. Unfortunately, they are already playing at the World Cup. But then I think he stayed too long on the pitch. If I were Ado, I would have removed him earlier for Semenyo. When Semenyo came on, you saw that there was an extra bit of urgency, an extra bit of pressure. That's what I would have done. When Suleiman Kamaldeen came on, you saw that there was a lot of a lot of pressure. Those are the reasons why I think he delayed the substitution. Because at that point, Femi, the game was always going to end in one way, either a win or a defeat. But you could have twisted it a bit by just throwing the kitchen sink at them. Now you cannot. It's a game that you cannot lose. So what you need to do is throw everybody in the game. Whatever happens, it happens. Worst case scenario is what we have now. You lose, or you win, or you draw, and everybody will clap for you like you are a genius. That's what I expected him to do. We've seen great coaches do this before. I've seen a game where United were losing. Sir Alex Ferguson would just decide to bring out defenders, even when we were losing, and throw on more attackers. And at the end of the day, 1992, 97th minute, goals will come, everybody will clap for the old man. Because at that point, he felt, I don't have anything to lose. Go out and do what you need to do. That's what I expected him to do. At that point, you don't need to be holding the handbrake again. 2 goals down, 30 minutes to go. What are you holding the handbrake for? Mark everybody there, let them go do what they can do. And if you are lucky, you get to win.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Okay. James, I think after this competition, I will expect maybe Lawrence Atizigi to get a better club, because today, I think he stood between Uruguay and the round of 16 because we saw those saves he made towards the end of the game. For me, I think he is one of the best players in this Ghana squad, at least in the 3 games that they played at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Okay. Okay, Mr. James.
For me, it's disappointing that Ghana crashed out, but it took away from the team Tsigi. I think Ghana has found their number 1 goalkeeper, somebody that they've been looking for all this while. So they have a new goalkeeper. So Wallacott and the rest, you start thinking of how to improve their performance, because Tsigi is not going anywhere anytime soon. So for me, that's a good one. Congratulations to Ghana. You have a new goalkeeper that's going to serve you for a very long time. It's so unfortunate that they didn't progress from the group stage, which would have afforded us the opportunity to see Atizigi more. But unfortunately, they had to come to an end like this. Remember, you saw the save he made against Cavani, that point-blank save. Exactly. I mean, another one, again, a long-range shot. He tipped over for a corner. For me, that was a takeaway from this Black Star squad. Kudus, Atizigi, for me, stand-up players for Ghana. What this team needs now is sound coach that's going to announce this team and out for them in the next.
Okay, Kayode, as we round up now, what do you think should be next for this team? Very quickly.
Femi, honestly, this is, even though they are out of the competition, I take solace from 2 things. First, the fact that we have a new generation of players who are going to come on board and play for the Black Stars. Secondly, like James said, we have a new goalkeeper now that before this competition, nobody would have thought about. Like he said, Walacott and Richard Ofori and Manaf should go back and do some more extra training in order to upstage Atizigi. Nobody can tell me anything about this guy for now. And the third one is like, in order to ensure stability, they should prevail on Otoado to stay. It may seem silly now, Femi, but I think I understand what I'm talking about. Since, like I said, Senegal where they are today.
Do you think on a permanent basis? On a permanent basis, like maybe leave Borussia Dortmund.
Femi, if they give him a secure tenure, like give him a 3-year contract, and tell him that this contract is based on XYZ. Not you must win the next AFCON or you must win the next World Cup. Just give me that. We are going to have KPIs, key performance indicators, that these and these are the milestones that we expect after 6 months, after 1 year. If they are able to do that, I do not have a problem. That's what I think they should be doing with him.
Okay,
if they're able to do that, that would be the takeaways for me. That would be the benefit of Ghana going to the World Cup.
Okay, guys, this tournament has been full of surprises, and it is sad. It is even agonizing for me coming to talk about the Black Stars crashing out of the tournament, because even till this morning I was already looking forward to celebrating after this game. But okay, let's see what happens. And unfortunately, for Uruguay, at least the tears that they shed 12 years ago, last like we say in Nigeria balance, they don't share the tears. Guys, thank you for coming on this review of this game today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Femi. Always a pleasure.
And our Ghanaian fans around the world, I think you can take solace in I don't know, at least Uruguay going on with the Black Stars, and the performance, at least the second half performance of this team. And of course, we saw what they did against Portugal. We saw what they did against Korea. The Black Stars have actually made serious progress since the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, where they crashed out in the group stage. So hopefully, let's see what happens now between the GFA and Otoado. Let's see if Ado will stay on permanently, as Kaude has said. So we'll keep our fingers crossed as far as that is concerned. Of course, we'll bring that to you. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll bring you yesterday at the World Cup. And we'll be looking, of course, in that program, we'll be looking at Cameroon's game against Brazil. We are hoping that at least maybe they might get the miracle that Ghana didn't get. So until tomorrow, we'll see you guys. Bye for now.